Hi everyone, so in this module we're going to discuss Season 5, Episode 15 of The Simpsons, Deep Space Homer. Now if you haven't seen the episode yet, this is a great time to pause the video and go watch it so that you can follow along.
3, 2, 1. Make rocket go now.
So in this episode, NASA finds out that people just aren't really as interested in space travel as they used to be. So in order to fix this, they decide to send an average person into space so the average American will start caring about space exploration again. And of course, they decide on Homer Simpson. And Homer predictably ends up creating a disaster for the shuttle, and they have to make an emergency landing.
Hey guys, look what I smuggled aboard.
Homer, no!
Huh?
They'll clog the instruments! Careful, they're ruffled.
I'll take care of this.
Now, space exploration has always been something that's kind of captured America's attention. In the 1960s, President Kennedy announced that by the end of the decade, we would have a man on the moon. And everyone kind of wrote that off as just an aspirational promise that was never really going to be fulfilled, because the idea of putting someone on the moon was kind of ludicrous. But NASA did it. 50 years ago, in 1969, NASA put the first man on the moon.
I'm going to step off the limb. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Now, part of the reason that America was so enthusiastic about space exploration in the 1960s is that we have always had this kind of frontier mentality. So back in the time of the colonial settlers, they were always expanding outwards into unknown territories. And by the 1960s, everything had pretty much been discovered. There really wasn't any, frontiers or exciting unknown boundaries left, except for space.
I'd like to be an explorer, like the Great Magellan.
Oh, you're too late. There's really nothing left to explore.
So space exploration started showing up more and more in our media, from really optimistic views of it, like in Star Trek, to really sinister views of it, like certain episodes of The Twilight Zone. Now, government support of space exploration started waning, but it was still really popular in our media, which is why things like Space Camp were really popular. In the 1990s, they used to advertise Space Camp all the time to kids, and I desperately wanted to go. So Space Camp is this place where kids can go and train like an astronaut, and they get to learn how to use some of the equipment and talk to people who've actually been to space.
Of light, training, dressing, and thinking just like the real NASA astronauts, with 5 days of hands-on training that'll take you from the mind-blowing sensation of microgravity.
I would see these commercials all the time on Nickelodeon or the Disney Channel, or really any channel that was geared for kids. And even though I really, really wanted to go, it wasn't an option for me. So I unfortunately kind of gave up on that dream and figured I would never get to go to space camp and learn about, being an astronaut. Except I recently found out that apparently there's an adult version of Space Camp. And it's basically a long weekend where adults can go and train like an astronaut. And they get to talk to astronauts and learn how to use some of the equipment and even experience zero gravity. Now, public interest in space exploration has been kind of decreasing, but that might be changing soon thanks to billionaires like Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, and Elon Musk, who are all using their fortunes to try to find ways to get humans off of Earth and onto Mars or the moon. So one company that you might have heard a lot about is SpaceX. So this is an aerospace manufacturer and space transportation services company founded by Elon Musk. In fact, SpaceX is planning to start commercial space travel as soon as 2023 with a circuit trip to the moon. Now, there's a lot of mixed feelings about Elon Musk as a person, but regardless of how you feel about him, you have to admit that SpaceX is really innovative, and it's really exciting, you know, the type of things that they're researching and what they're proposing they can do within our lifetime. If you're interested at all in space exploration or space travel or just science in general, I really recommend checking out SpaceX's Instagram and Twitter feed.